Hi, today we're going to talk about literary analysis. It is literary, it is an analysis, it's an argument. It may also involve research on and analysis of secondary sources. Usually a literary analysis will involve a discussion of a text as writing, thus the term literary, which means having to do with letters. This will involve the use of certain concepts that are very specifically associated with literature. Some of the basics include all of the tropes and schemes that we study in AP English, as well as plot, setting, narration and point of view, characterization, symbolism, metaphors, genre, irony, ambiguity, as well as other key concepts that have to do with historical context, political, social, economic context, ideology, multiple voices, various critical orientations, and literary theory. So there's quite a wide range of literary concepts that could be explored in an essay of this nature. There are various handbooks of literary terms available in most libraries and, of course, online. You can search for them and find quite a bit of information. An analysis of a literary work may discuss several things. I like the last one, how concepts and forms in literary works relate to larger aesthetic, political, social, economic, or religious context. That's a good one. You can also just do a comparison of two works or examine the various components of one work. When writing a literary analysis, you will focus on specific attributes of the text, and then when discussing these attributes, you may want to make sure that you're making specific, arguable points, which is your claim or thesis, about these attributes. You will defend this point with reasons and evidence drawn from the text, and that's what we so often call text evidence and text support, where you tell where you got this information from the book. Which is the best thesis statement? Give you a second to read over those. I think it's clear that the last one, the use of whiteness in Moby Dick, illustrates the uncertainty about the meaning of life that Ishmael expresses throughout the novel. Clearly, that's the best thesis statement. Examples from the text could be direct quotations, summaries of scenes, and of course you can always paraphrase. Other critics' opinions, literary criticism, I guess is what that's also called, historical and social context, making a world connection there, text to world. And remember to read carefully, highlight useful passages and quotes, and of course annotating is always the best way to go. What is a secondary source? It is a book or article that discusses the text you are discussing. A book or an article that discusses a theory related to the argument you are making, or a book or article that discusses the social and historical context of the text you are discussing. How do I find secondary sources? Well, there are a variety of ways available to you. You can use pretty much any search engine. You do not want to use things like Wikipedia because those are not considered legitimate sources, things like that. Most higher education facilities will have a subscription to a yearly academic search engine that they will require you to use. And outside of those boundaries, there's too many things out there that could be questionable. But you can use anything, blogs, wikis, articles in scholarly journals, magazines, books, other text, film clips, pretty much anything that you can find. How do you integrate secondary sources? Well, be sure, first of all, that they relate to your thesis. You don't want off-topic things that you're talking about and adding into the paper to take you off track. You don't want to overuse any of them either, because this is primarily a paper with your ideas. The reason to use these secondary sources is only to support or to reinforce what you're saying with some kind of text evidence or proof as to the validity of your claims. You're not going to rely totally on these secondary sources. Never ever plagiarize. Cutting and pasting is cheating and equals a 0. An overview of literary analysis. Be familiar with your literary terms, the tropes, which are diction devices, the schemes, which are structure and syntax devices. Analyze specific items, make an argument or claim, make appropriate use of secondary sources as your text evidence and text support, your proof, and consult your instructor if you have questions. Good luck.